Hello everyone, this is Deepali here from first year MMS. So today we will be talking about the subject managerial economics, and I have chosen the topic of the law of supply. So let's talk about how this law of supply works in the market. So these are the contents which I have included in the slides. We will study about each in brief. First, I have added introduction, definition, explanation of law of supply, and examples, rules, supply schedule, and supply curve, factors affecting supply, and example of the law of supply, and plus conclusion. So, now the law of supply is a fundamental concept in economics that describes how the quantity of a good supplied by producers changes in response to changes in its price. So if the quantity of goods, so if the prices of goods increases, then of course the quantity of goods supplied will also be increased. So the producers focus, like on what to produce and how much to produce. So this law plays a key role in understanding how markets work and how producers make decisions about what to produce and how much to produce. Moving on to further, let's talk about the definition of law of supply. So the law of supply, it is an economic principle that states all other things being equal, like all other things being constant, if there is an increase in the price of good or service, then it will lead to an increase in the quantity of that good or service that suppliers are willing and able to serve for sale. And conversely, if there is a decrease in the price of goods, then it will lead to decrease in the quantity supplied. So in short, if price is increased, if the prices of goods are increased, then the quantity supplied of goods will also be increased. And plus vice versa, price is decreased, then quantity supplied will also be decreased. For example, let's say fruit supply in the market. So when the prices of fruits is increased, then the vendors will focus to make more fruits available in the market to make more profit. So just like that, when the fruits prices are decreased, then they do not focus on it. So if any producer supplies product only when they get more price or more profit, and if the price is less, then the supply will also be less. Now, this is a formula where S equals to P, like where S is supply, P is price, F is functional relationship, and X is commodity goods or services. So we can see that there is a direct relationship between price and supply. As we have seen that if the price of goods is increased, then the supply will also be increased. And if the price of goods is decreased, then the supply will also be decreased. So let's understand this from the law of schedule, supply schedule, and the law of supply curve. So this is the example of law of supply schedule. So here we can see there is an example of price of salt and supply of salt. So here we can see if the prices of salt, if the price of salt is 10 rupees per kg, then its supply is 100 kgs. And if the price of salt is 20 kg, then its supply is 200. So moving on to further, when the price of salt is 50 per kg, then the supply of salt is 500. So more the price of salt has become, more the supply has become. So we can see like first is what 10, later it became first it was 10, then the supply became 100, 20, then supply became 200. So like this, the price is increased, so the supply is also increased. So let's see the combination of price and quantity supplied by the supply curve. So we will take the same example in this. So here we can see the graph. We can see in x-axis and y-axis. In x-axis there is uh, quantity supplied in kgs, and in y-axis we have food price in rupees. Okay, so here we can see that according to the increase in price, the supply is increased. So there we can say that there is an upward slope on the demand, on the supply and demand graph. So the curve shows the direct relationship between the quantity of a good supplied and the price of that good. So as the price of the good increases, the quantity supplied also increases, and this result in an upward movement along the curve. So let's move on to the further factors affecting supply. So the law of supply assumes that all other factors affecting supply, such as production costs and technology, remains constant. So if these factors change, the supply curve will shift to a new position. So some factors that can affect supply include changes in constant cost of production. If the cost of production changes, then of course there will be change in the supply. Changes in constant technique of production. If the technique is changed, then there will be changes in the curve, supply curve. If change there is a change in weather conditions, then of course it will vary. Change there should not be change in government policies. This will affect the supply, like commodity taxes, like excise duty, import duties, GST, etc. There must not be changes in transportation cost. This would also affect this supply. Then there must not be changes in price of other goods. You know, if the goods remain same, then this supply will not get affected. So without any future expectations, we must not expect anything in future if the goods supplied should be constant or in the same level or in the same profit. Now, examples of the law of supply, as we have discussed before, that when oil prices increases, we have discussed about the fruit example. So in the similar way, when oil prices rise, then oil producers are incentivized to increase the production in order to take advantage of higher profits to be earned. We can say that oil is a necessity in day-to-day life for a living being, for a human being. So oil is a must, like to have food, to make food. So if so the producers also know that if the price of oil will be increased, then no matter what, people have to buy it. If there is different product of oil, then there might be chances that this supply will be less or the profit will be less. So when oil prices rises, oil producers will focus more on supplying oil for higher profits to be earned. So response of farmers to changes in crops prices. When crop prices rises, farmers may plant more of that crop in order to take advantage of the higher prices. So what do we conclude in that? The law of supply is a fundamental concept in economics that helps us understand how producers respond to changes in market conditions. So if there is a changes in market condition, then there will be changes in the production of the supply of goods. By understanding the law of supply, we can better predict how changes in price or other market factors will affect the quantity of a good supplied by producers. If there is any changes in price or any factors, then of course there will be changes in supply. For example, if we are supplying wheat, normal regular wheat, then there will be no change in the price or supply. But if there will be other product of the same thing of wheat, like there will be multigrain wheat, if we are selling if that product comes new in the market, so there might be chances that people will go to buy that or this, depending on the prices. So this will affect. So